Don Mazzella here again for Small Business Digest. And we have someone I'm really interested in hearing about because he's got a way to help a small business leader, and I want to hear more. Joseph Haraj is with us. He's got a company and he's going to tell us all about it. But first, he's going to tell us about his personal background, then about his company, and finally a website. Joseph, welcome to the program.
Dan, thanks for having me on. Again, my name is Joseph Faraj. I'm co-founder and CEO of Clip Money Incorporated. I got my start in business as a small business leader, as a small business operator. Immigrant family to Canada, and my family did what most immigrant families do: is they opened a small business, and as any small business family operator. I was very involved in the family business, and I'm pleased to say that actually gave me the framework that I believe is really helping us build this new business that we're doing today. As I started in the family business, I identified an opportunity to build my first business, which was an ATM operation company. I realized that the ATM industry had just gotten deregulated, and there was nobody really structuring deals in a way that was beneficial to small businesses, people that were working 7 days a week, like my family. It was just it was a very challenging time for businesses at that time, especially in early 2000. So I founded the business. I grew it to be the largest independent ATM deployer in Canada and sold it to Cardtronics, who was a large publicly traded company that operated ATMs all over the world. And I joined Cardtronics. And during that time, Dan, I built a lot of relationships with a lot of the big banks in Canada. And what was really cool was the banks were saying to me on a regular basis that they need better tools to service their small business clients. Today, the small business clients are effectively, 90% of businesses across North America go to the bank branch to do their deposits. They do this on a regular basis. It is the most frequent in-person banking transaction by far that businesses do. It's very time consuming and it's very expensive for businesses, especially small businesses. So what we did is we built our platform, and I'll tell you all about it, at Clip Money, to be able to help businesses save time, save money. We're passionate about businesses. The whole purpose of building this new company is to really help businesses in this new challenging environment. And we're doing this by providing businesses with the most cost-effective and the most convenient access to their banking services outside of the bank branch. And we're tackling this problem by putting in place in very convenient retail locations a self-service business deposit platform that enables businesses, many businesses banking with any bank, to deposit their money and receive next day credit. And we structure our entire program around helping businesses in the sense that we do not look for a long-term contract with our customers. There's no fixed monthly minimums associated with our solution. We do this transactionally. So if a business deposits, they pay us a transaction fee, and if they don't deposit, they don't pay us any fee. And the whole purpose behind it is to really start to drive businesses from driving further and further and further to bank branches, waiting in line, to very quickly and easily going and doing a very quick self-service transaction. And we'll tell you all about it here. But that's the company. Our website is www.clipmoney.com. That's CLIPMONEY.com.
Okay, so let me see if I heard you right. In effect, you go into a city and set up some place where people from a surrounding area can come and deposit their money or do whatever they have to do, regardless of whether they're in one bank or another. Am I
That's
hearing you correctly?
that's absolutely correct. Yes.
Okay, now that's fascinating. I have, having also grown up in a immigrant family, etc., I can understand that. So, but how do you make it easier? Well, let's go forward. Where are you located now, and how do you expand?
So we're located in malls, shopping centers, coast to coast across Canada and the US, mainly across the US. And we're in Simon's malls, we're in other major malls across the country. That makes sense. There's a couple hundred businesses under one roof. And all those businesses that are in the mall have very easy access to the location, to our location. We're also installing across Staples stores. Our first two markets with Staples are Boston and the New York Metro. So small businesses can now go to a Staples store in those markets and do a deposit. Our hours of operation are longer than the traditional branch, right? I believe Staples closes at 9 p.m. And there's a lot of businesses in and around Staples. And what we really like about Staples is that they share the same passion as we do in terms of helping businesses thrive and building solutions for businesses, particularly small businesses. So there's really great alignment there.
But are you talking about cash, only cash, or is it receipts? Or, for instance, if they get card, if they get charges the card, that's all electronic. Are you, in fact, handling the cash?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that right. The platform specifically handles the cash portion of it. So, and cash in the US market represents 1/3 of all in-person payments. And businesses are still handling it today as, the same way as they did when it represented 80 or 90% of their proceeds of sales. So today, even though 29% is still a big number, and it is a very big number, it has declined over time, making it, more cost prohibitive on a per unit basis for these businesses to go to the bank branch or contract, armored carrier service and the like.
Mm. But a merchant comes in to a Staples and has 4 days of receipts, which let's say it totals $237,
Right.
just for the sake of argument. Do they feed it into a machine so that automatically counts it? How does it work?
So the devices themselves that we're setting up are our first product in the market is called a Clip Drop. And a Clip Drop is a drop safe that is internet connected that we're installing in all these retail locations. When a client signs up for the service, they receive clip deposit bags. And on these bags, there's a barcode on there. The barcode, and we have an app, a mobile application that is used for the transaction. You scan the bag, you tell us what you're putting into the bag. We show you the nearest clip drop location. You go to the box, you scan the box, it opens up, you put your bag in, and your transaction is considered complete at that point. And then we fund you the next day. The businesses can deposit notes and coins in the bag as well. And we see quite a bit of that.
So, but you have to verify the bag,
Mm-hmm.
and you do that overnight?
So we provide next day credit irrespective of whether or not we service the device. We have a very large and important partnership with Brinks, the large armored carrier company. They're our managed provider on all the services, the physical services that we're doing on the platform. So Brinks will go, pick up the bags, verify them. If there is a variance in the transaction, so there was either an over or short, we then credit or debit our customer accordingly after the fact. But we're providing daily credit. So if you do a deposit today, you will receive credit to your account tomorrow, and that's a very important distinction of the platform.
Wow, that's really interesting. But it seems to me that there's a great deal of trust that has to be done on both sides.
Yeah, that's very true. So when we register a client, when a client enrolls, when a business enrolls, we're doing all the requisite KYB and KYC functions that you would expect in line with what a bank would do. Now, we're not a bank, right? And businesses will they maintain their same bank account as they have today. They don't have to change bank accounts. So they when we register the user, we we effectively do all the KYB. They're now a registered user on the account, and they can send, and then we credit their bank account, their existing bank account, with the value of the transaction, of the value of the deposit. But
So you,
we're doing all the requisite checks up front. Yes.
yeah. Question. Um, if I deposit $100, what is your fee for handling that?
So in the U.S., we're transactional. It's $4.49 per $1,000 that's deposited. So if a business deposits $1,000, they pay us a very small fee of $4.49, which is less than less far less than credit card fees would charge, for example, on that on their value. And you receive your money next day, like I said. So it's a
Well,
very simple transaction.
what happens if somebody? I know it's very. What happens if somebody steals your box?
So the moment that money goes into the box, it is no longer the responsibility of the business. Once we confirm receipt of it, it is our responsibility. So again, the whole system again is designed to make it as easy as possible for businesses to use our system.
Hmm. It seems to me you've done an awful lot. How long has it taken you to build up this uh, what I think is a fantastic approach?
Thanks. So we founded the company in 2018, but we really ended up getting busy in 2019. And this wasn't done by one person alone. We've assembled what I like to believe is the best team in the absolute industry globally to be able to execute on this. We have a team of really focused executives, team members that share the same purpose, the same passion for small businesses as I do. And that's how I believe we've been able to really move as quickly as we have been.
Well, but if I'm hearing you correctly, you're inside a mall. And I don't know about you, but it's kind of difficult for me to go to a mall because but um, why a mall rather than say a location in some strip mall or
Oh,
something?
absolutely. Yeah. No, and that's a great question. We are also in Staples stores. So we're in Staples stores. Our first two markets, like I said, are in Boston and the New York Metro. We're going to be adding additional distribution locations in markets across the US that will be able to provide even more convenient locations as we expand our system across the US market. We will be deploying then 15,000 locations, 15 to 16,000 locations across the US and Canada. To put that into context, that is about 3 times the size of the largest US bank in terms of location points. So our whole intent here is to be the most convenient nationwide network for businesses to be able to deposit at.
I guess my next question is here in New Jersey, they actually had to pass a law that you can take money in cash because so many people are almost 90% um, or 95% transaction card transaction. What happens to your business if the trend goes goes towards more card transactions?
So first of all, I mean, if we look at the market itself and what's happening in the market right now, 1/3 of all in-person payments are made in cash. So it is still a very large market. And to put that size of market into context, it is the same size as the debit market is in the US. So it is still a very large market, meaning this is a very large problem that needs to be solved. I think any of your business listeners, your small business listeners that have a storefront business, a retail business, and that accepts cash, they'll I think understand the pain point that we're talking about here, because these transactions, they do them weekly, they do them multiple times a week. The average user on our system today deposits over 4 times a week, uses our system over 4 times a week. So it's a very frequent transaction, especially like in the QSR space, the quick service restaurant space. Let me put this. This is kind of a really neat story. I had the privilege about a month and a half ago to meet one of our users. It was a new user. It's a manager of a quick service restaurant, and when I had a scheduled meeting, we showed up at 3:30, and he was on the cash register, right, taking orders from customers. And he's kind of signaling to us like, "I'm really sorry." Comes around the counter about 10-15 minutes later, and he says, "I'm so short staffed. You are saving me 3 to 4 hours a week." I said, "Really? Tell me more." He was going to the bank branch 3 to 4 times a week. It would take him an hour return, and he would have to go before the branch closed. And, I think many of your small businesses are being impacted by branch hours right now. And, more and more branches are getting converted to the point where businesses cannot go do a deposit over the counter there. Right. So it's a real challenge. It's a very big problem. And, that's why we're so bullish about this.
Well, I guess my other question is, did you ever think of going to the post office? Because that's the other, to me, pain point for small business.
What I can share is that we are in discussions with all different types of retail stores. And logistics is a very important segment because of, the elements that you just referenced. And, that's what we're doing. We're going to be locating these, our systems, our self-service deposit systems, in locations that are extremely convenient for businesses to use.
Well, let me ask you this question. If you go to, for instance, here in Weehawken and Edgewater are heavily Hispanic storefronts, but the neighborhood is also not the best, the lowest crime rate. How do you pick your locations?
So so security is a major element. And before I continue, I want to kind of share with you that we believe that we actually enhance security for our users, because our users, our small business depositors, are able to choose the time they're going to go. When they're walking into a bank, they know they're walking into a bank for a reason, especially if recognized as a small business. So here they're going to have many more different locations that they can go to. They're not the primary, reason of going to that particular retail location isn't necessarily to deposit. It could be to purchase, materials for your store, or for your business, or for yourself personally. We undertake a significant security audit in advance of installing a location. So we look at the demographics of the location. We look at the potential risks that are posed to us. So we will not be installing in locations that we believe increase risk for our business deposit customers. We want to improve the risk profile to them.
Before we go further, your website again for our audience?
www.clipmoney.com. CLIPMONEY.com.
Thank you. I don't know about other people, but if I had a business, I'd be on the phone to you right away. You're answering a question that many people talk to us about in our studies.
It's a real problem, and I, when I was in my family business, I would go to the bank almost every day to do these transactions, and that takes time. That takes a lot of time. And businesses today are under unprecedented level of pressure, right? All the pressures that everyone's always talking about: inflation, cost increases, labor shortages, bank branch closures. As I mentioned, there was a 38%, or at least I believe I mentioned, there was a 38% jump in bank branch closures last year over the year before. This is a trend that's going to continue to go on. And this is, the business is really kind of just stuck in the middle. And we're doing our part. We look at it. We believe if we can save a customer, any one of our customers, 3 to 4 hours a week, even if it's 1 hour a week, it's very significant. Back to that quick service restaurant manager. I mean, I don't know his background, but I've got 2 children at home who are into sports and into different things, and if I could spend a couple more hours a week with them versus waiting in line at a bank branch or driving to a bank branch, going to their soccer game, that means a lot to the family. So it's a real value, and that value is really hard to put on an income statement to really understand that true value, right?
Absolutely. Before we go further, what was your family business?
Convenience stores. We were a
Oh,
convenience store operator. Yeah. So it was that's what we did. That's what we did.
oh, well, I had someone on here on the show a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about how convenience stores are ethnically uh, uh, proprietors. A majority of them are ethnic. And she got very upset and she withdrew from the program because she said we shouldn't talk about things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's it's a I can share with you my personal perspective, and how I grew up and what I grew up doing alongside my family. Everyone rolled up their sleeves and got to work, and that was the only way to kind of make ends meet. And it's a great industry, quite frankly. And yeah, we're really happy to be able to help business owners of all shapes and sizes save time, get a lot of time back. Like I said, we're our customers are reporting saving anywhere from $300 to $600 a month, and up to 20 hours a month in time. It's very significant.
Well, let me ask you a different question. It seems to me that I could if I were a drug dealer, I could set up an account, and that would be a way of laundering my money through you.
Well, I mean, we go through extensive KYB, so know your business and know your customer, with all the requisite checks and balances that you expect. In fact, we open a transitory, what we call our deposit account, at a federally regulated financial institution. They have to approve you as well, for us to be able to sign you up for the service. It's highly regulated.
Hmm. Well, I'll ask the other question, which is medical marijuana and marijuana. If I have a medical marijuana business, can I use your facility?
That's a great question. Right now, they are on our restricted list. It's
Okay.
it's something that, you know, uh, in all likelihood, over time it may change. But we don't set the restrictions. We have our banking partner and Brinks, that we work very closely on on who we can bring on to the platform. And there's not perfect overlap between the two of those two groups, but the primary customer segment that we are really targeting with our solution are the everyday small businesses that are going to the bank branch. And that's the majority of the businesses that are in the market today.
Your website one more time for our audience, please.
www.clipmoney.com. ClipMoney.com.
Okay, we just have a couple of minutes left. What would you like to leave our audience with?
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess the what I'd like to leave the audience with is that there's a better way to do these time-consuming transactions that never existed before, and we're here to help. And if there's anything that we can do to help you save time, save money, please reach out to us, and we can get you onboarded and show you how the system works.
Well, on that note, we have to say that, Joe, thank you so much. You got a great product here, and I'm glad we got a chance to hear from you about it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.